Hi everyone, my name is Esajifa and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. For today's video, I am giving you a general overview of the housing experience in Rwanda. So I'm going to show you a tour of my current apartment. I've been living in Rwanda for almost a year and a half or 2 years. And in that space of time, I have lived in 3 different locations or 3 different houses. Currently I live close to the CMU campus, which is ideal for most students to live close to school. Alright, so for this video, before I show you what the house looks like for the price I pay, I have notes I'm looking at so that I stay on track. So how does housing work in Rwanda? When you're coming to Rwanda, you should have at least 3 months upfront payment, and two of the payments would go to actual rent. The third one is a security deposit. And then usually utilities like light and electricity and water are often separate from your rent. And then it is also common to, they have a lot of agents here, so mostly you would go through an agent to get a house. And in that process you will have to pay the agent. So usually you have house visits. Now for each house you go and visit, you are paying the agent about 5,000 Rwandan francs, which would translate to maybe $4. And so each visit would require you to pay that amount to an agent, and usually you are seeing anywhere between 5 to 10 houses before you are making a decision. So that's something to keep in mind. Some people are able to speak to owners directly. That is, if you had maybe a colleague or you found someone there and then they can give you the landlord's number, then you speak directly to the landlord. Another fee you pay as an international. Now I realize that these fees I'm mentioning, the daily visits fee, most Rwandans don't have to pay that, but we do. We internationals do. So you have to pay the fee for each visit, and then you have to pay for, I think it's about is it 10 or 15% or 20% of your rent to the agent if you decide on the house. So that brings, well, the cost easily racks up. Anyways, so if you are looking for more affordable places, there are certain things you have to compromise on. If you want to live by yourself, it's definitely more expensive than if you are living with other people in a house. And then the location where you are, if you are closer to the road, those areas tend to be more expensive than places that are not as close to the road. Then if it's furnished or not fully if it's fully furnished, semi-furnished, or not furnished at all of that counts. So when I came in my first year, I lived with 5 people in a house, and the total rent was about 600. I had the master bedroom, so I paid 165. Right now, that is exclusive of the things you are using at home, groceries and all of that. So 165 was solely my rent. Then the next place I moved to, so the first place was a fully furnished place. The second place I moved to was not furnished, and that was 140 Rwandan francs. And I had to finish that place. I lived there for almost 6 months. Then this place I'm living at is fully furnished, and it's 300,000 Rwandan francs. And that is exclusive of electricity. It covers every other thing: water, internet, security, their cameras. Is safer and it's closer to school. So now let's look at what the place actually looks like. I included this as tips for students who be looking for housing. Okay, the first one is start early. Okay, you will definitely be put in groups with other people coming from your country. You will have WhatsApp groups, maybe Telegram or whatever. Just take somebody. Do you have somebody to stay with? If you have a friend, try to communicate with them just so that when you come, you will not now be looking for housemates. And then if you don't find housemates, you'll be forced to live by yourself and pay more rent. Okay. In my situation, I knew somebody that was here. I didn't know anybody I was going to live with. It was just by God's grace that somebody walked up to me. I was like, I'm looking for a housemate. Do you want to live together? And then I ended up in a house of with 5 Ghanaians, right? You might not be that lucky. Okay, so houses close to the universities get taken fast. Okay, so try to make your decision quickly. Okay, so you can use student groups and referrals. There are some WhatsApp groups. You can send me a DM. I'll send you the link to the WhatsApp group. So you can start texting agents or texting people. Oh, are you going to leave soon? Or if you know an alumni, some people use some people use alumni to help them get places, and well, it has worked well for them. Okay. Also, when you come, so I can't speak for other universities, but when you come to CMU during your orientation, your 2 week or 3 week orientation, the international minister, right? There's a department or a group. They would organize for you to go and see some houses. They call it house hunting. Okay, so they will organize for you to go and see some houses. So that's also something to bear in mind. Most people find houses during that, so maybe you don't even have to start talking early. Now the good thing is you would find a house. The next thing is you might not have housemates, so that's why you have to engage with your colleagues on your WhatsApp group, and try to make friends before you come to Kigali. Okay, then another good thing is to use referrals. Like if you are going to a place and someone has been there before, you can ask questions like, oh, has there been any theft situation? What were the challenges you had there? Was your landlord difficult? Blah 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 blah. Okay, you have to also decide, do you want a furnished house or an unfurnished house? That will greatly affect your budget. Okay, you can't start budgeting for a furnished house on an unfurnished house budget. For furnished houses, you should be looking at 200k and above. Another thing is, if you have a friend in Rwanda, you can have them bargain for you, because I realized they are able to get better prices than we, the internationals. So yeah, it would be a good thing to make a Rwandan friend and then have them help you bargain or get a place for you. All right, and then it's also good to check the distance from school. So now if you're going to get a place before you come to CMU, there'll always be buses to take you to and fro from campus. Okay, but you can use Google Map always to just test, or if I'm living here, if this is the address or this is the area, this is how far it is from school. Okay, I wouldn't think distance is a super big issue, because I think anywhere from Kimirunko to, and I'll put this map on my screen for you to see, anywhere from Kimirunko here, all this area, I feel like it's okay to campus. It's okay, but people live like further, and it's also fine. It's also fine, but for me, for convenience, I found that from that location to campus is ideal. All right, and then you have to negotiate. So one thing I realized is most landlords are willing to reduce the rent for you if you are paying for more months upfront. So let's say, as opposed to paying for 3 months worth of rent, if you are coming to say pay for a year or for 6 months, then you can bargain. So say a rent of 300k, like in my situation, if I was saying maybe I'll stay here for 6 months, or I'm going to stay here for a year, then I'll say, so based off of that, I want to pay 250, or I want to bargain to pay 250. There's a higher chance for them to accept that rent, as opposed to paying for a shorter period and then asking for a reduction. Okay, then there's a rental agreement. Make sure you sign your rental agreement. If it's basic or simple, however it looks like, make sure you sign. That agreement should state when you are paying, how much you are paying, the details of how you would get back your security deposit. Some landlords will translate your security deposit into another man's rent. Some will give it to you. Most of them don't. They find a way to end up like, it's like, oh, you broke something, oh, you da, and before you realize, you are getting less than you paid for. So my advice would be, if you know you are leaving next month, tell them I'm leaving. They should use the security deposit you paid as your rent, and then it's a win-win for everybody. Yeah. All right, and then so these are the popular student areas. I'm going to put it on the screen. These are the popular areas where students live. All right, so that is it for today's video. All right, so that's it for today's video. I hope today's video was helpful in helping you understand the housing landscape in Rwanda, especially for students. Okay, and I hope the tips were also helpful for finding a place when you are coming to Rwanda, coming to CMU, ALU, etc. Okay, so if you are a current student, or you currently live in Rwanda, or you are coming to Rwanda and you have any tips or suggestions, kindly drop it in the section for students who are coming. It's very helpful for internationals because you are coming to a new space. There's a lot you don't know. I know this will be helpful. Okay, so if there are any areas I forgot to mention or any tips I forgot to mention, please leave it in the comment section to help the younger version of yourself. And I wish you the best as you continue to be the best version of yourself. Bye.